me, Mario. Hello. Okie dokie.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
Hello and welcome to the Super Mario 64 70-star tournament race between theOKNEM and Drago710. My name is Ashay Arya, and Jmail Gaming is going to be commentating with me. Say hi, Jmail.
Hello, everybody.
And we will be the sweet, soothing voices in your ear, explaining everything you need to know for the next hour. Alright, so they've already started. OKNEM missing Lackey to skip. At this point, I think people know enough about Lackey to skip for us not to need to explain it.
I would hope.
One would hope.
In right now.
Well, deep in for us at least. For them, it is their second tournament race. In this tournament, they are both 0-1. Both of them lost their first match. So we'll see how this one turns out.
Here we go.
Talking to OKNEM before the race, he said he was just happy if he'd be happy if he could just pull a PB.
I think we've got their PBs, don't we? OKNEM is at 111 and Drago is at 102. So for that level, they're actually not that far apart. At this level, I've seen 4-minute PBs happening in the middle of a race. So anything could happen here.
And I believe OKNEM said he had a 3 or 4 minute time saving to be alone.
Did he mention which stage he would be attempting that?
I think it's just both.
Alright.
Rainbow Ride and TikTok Clock.
I see. Perfect. Alright, and OKNEM managing to get Owless and Drago as well. That's a very, very complicated trick for those who don't know. You have to neutral your stick just as you start triple jumping and then pull left, and you have to not get it on the first or on the fourth frame. It's kind of ridiculous. Oops, and OKNEM messing up the setup for Blast Away the Wall.
Here we go.
Drago going for 100 coin right here out the gate.
It's interesting. Never mind. I actually started saying something then realized it wasn't true. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
I've actually never seen that setup for 100 coin in a cycle.
Yeah, the attempting to go up to the upper platform first.
Right.
Alright, OKNEM retrying the setup for Blast Away the Wall.
Here we go.
And he does manage to get it this time. Last time Mario didn't ledge grab, he just ran off the plank.
Pretty good 100 coin here from Drago. Gets it pretty cleanly. OKNEM now going for 100 coin as well.
And I guess I'm gonna repeat this. I end up saying this every race I commentate. 100 coin stars take a long time, mostly because you have to get 100 coins. So this is one of 3 or 4 100 coin stars that the runners do in the entire game. Depending on whether they decide to do Tick-Tock Clock 100 or not, they will be doing this one, and then Cuckoo Mountain and Wet Dry World, but that's all. There's no other 100 coin stars in the run.
Oh no. Their coin ends up giving OKNEM a little trouble here, but it's okay.
It's very early in the race, and at the level that these runners are, someone could make a mistake. A star could take a little longer than they expected. So it's any difference that happens here at the beginning of the race can be reversed at any point.
Exactly, it is a race, anything can happen. And a lot of us have seen a lot of different outcomes for these races that you wouldn't expect.
That's very true. Things like PBing in the middle of a race, which is always good to see. As you mentioned, OKNEM was trying to go for that on this race.
Yeah, both the runners going for Womps 8 here, which is... it's alright. Going for Womps 9 only saves about a second going for the first one.
And it's... you usually see Womps 8 more in attempts rather than a race because, as you said, it does save a second, but Womps is such a technical stage that when doing attempts you want to get it out as fast as you can, so that, because it's a very technical stage and it's a lot of stars that you have to do. So if you...
stage, for sure.
yeah, if you mess up, you want to reset right away.
Anyway, both runners now out of Womps. Drago's going for the slide now. OKNEM's just behind him.
Absolutely.
Still a really close race right now.
Yeah, when someone is half a star behind their competitor, it's at this level, it's not a significant difference at all, much less at the beginning of the race. Alright, and Drago getting his sub 21 slide star.
Fall damage there for OKNEM.
Yeah, unfortunately that's gonna lose just a little time, but it shouldn't be too much of a setback.
It's only about a 4-second time loss.
Alright, and Drago, or Drago, I'm actually gonna call him Drago. I can't remember how he prefers for it to be pronounced. But Drago is now going to go into CCM, into Cuckoo Mountain. Both of them, from what I can tell from their splits, are going to do CCM 18. So they will be getting 18 stars in CCM, bundling the 100 coin star with the penguin star, or the penguin race star, and then Drago gets an extra star in Toxic Maze. I can't tell just now what OKNEM decides to do for that latter star. And OKNEM getting that text box skip, jumping off of the buttons there is in other Mario games called a yump. I think that terminology started to catch on, and Drago doing some interesting there in Bowser. I actually haven't seen people collecting that red coin in front of the flamethrower before going back to collect the first red coin.
Usually that'll happen if they get burnt by the flame, they can swing back.
And Drago going from the square island coin to the round island coin and missing the cycle for the platforms. That's alright, it shouldn't take too much time.
Very unfortunate for Drago there.
Oof. Yeah, first I have to pay respects.
So now, OKNEM's actually back in the lead here. Just because of how close this race actually is.
He does manage to make the cycle that Drago missed earlier. And cycles in the Bowser stages are ridiculously important. There's at least 2 of the 3 Bowser stages, this one and Bowser in the Fire Sea, are on really long cycles for certain global timers. This one being those platforms that you can see in Drago's screen under the red coin, and for Bowser in the Fire Sea it's an elevator. And if you manage to have really good movement, you can make earlier cycles, allowing you to just go through the stage faster. If you are delayed just a little, those cycles instead force you to wait to the next one, and you lose more time than you would have otherwise.
Very good Dark World there from OKNEM. It's the first Bowser throw, and he's on to B.O.B. OKNEM's Battlefield. Drago right behind him, just now getting the Bowser throw.
Now, I had this question asked on a chat a couple days ago. The reason why they go back to B.O.B. instead of just doing 2 stars in B.O.B. in one swoop is because they need to have unlocked the wing cap first, and the wing cap can't be unlocked until you have 10 stars. So, since the only stage you can actually access, barring no BLJs, is B.O.B., they end up having to come back to it to do this rather quick star, admittedly, but that requires the wing cap to be unlocked first.
There is a more advanced strat that world record runners will go for. It's called Island Hop. They get the island without the wing cap, but it's a very advanced strat, very challenging. And they'll do that first, and then do bomb clip.
Yeah, using bomb clip as a backup in order to save as much time as possible. That being said, at the level that these 2 runners are, I completely understand them not going for it. It's a very advanced strat.
Exactly. And it's actually slower than the wing cap. It just saves time for loading reasons. You don't have to reload into B.O.B.
We were mentioning Womps 9 earlier. The reason why we were mentioning and why that saves a second, even though you're doing the stars, is mostly the same reason as this one. Oof, Drago taking an unfortunate death there. Doing the wall kick, he will have to move a little more to the right when he falls off. But yeah, castle movement is the reason why that strategy is attempted, because it's going back to the stage that ends up saving time.
Very
Both
unfortunate for OKNEM.
and for Drago as well. He's having trouble getting down to the wall kicks will work area. And this time he does manage to get it.
And OKNEM now getting the penguin, baby penguin.
My favorite trick in the run.
definitely a fairly simple and fairly quick start. That's when a lot of people seem to enjoy it.
It's also very impressive if you do it in front of someone who doesn't know how to do it.
It is indeed. That or you get a casual Super Mario 64 player that's never seen strats, and they're just blown away by it.
I mean, I'm a casual Super Mario 64 player, as in I haven't played since I was like 8. And I can pull off the penguin slide, so you know. As you can see, both of them doing the slide star right behind each other. If they had been doing a different routing strategy called CCM17, they would have bundled the 100 coin star with this one and get to skip the penguin race star. However, they are doing CCM18, meaning they will leave CCM with 18 stars in total and bundle the 100 coin star with the penguin race.
Ockhnem playing it very safe. They're grabbing those blue coins.
See how many coins he gets when he goes into the chimney.
Ends up going in with 9 more than the minimum there.
Right, so he will be allowed to skip 9 coins basically on his way down. That being said, if he ends up getting too many coins, the star will end up spawning not at, like, rather far from the end of the race, so he will have to do some extra movement in order to make sure that he manages to get the star. It's a little risky.
And he pulls 85, very nice.
Nice, that's basically a perfect count. There's 15 coins at the end. So if you manage to get the star to spawn on the last or second to last coin, you can just long jump there and you will reach the star.
And as you see there, Drago with 86, still enough for a long jump to grab.
Anything further back than that, and you will have to do backwards kicks in order to get to the star, since it will be a little too far back.
You can also manage to do a triple jump dive into it. Which can be a little trickier to back up.
Alright, and as we can see, both of them with 18 star coming out of the stage at almost the same time. They're gonna do 2 stars in BBH.
It's a very quick stage for BBH. Most runners enjoy it because it's so fast. It's kind of like a break.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an entire stage. It's just like, I just gotta do these 2 before going on to the next one. That being said, in 120 star, there's some stars here that give runners a little bit of a headache, especially some of the killing all of the boos in order to get the King Boo to spawn in the lobby. That one takes a long time. You have to kill some of the boos on very precarious areas.
Also the King Boo's merry-go-round, or Big Boo's merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's not worth it, guys.
I think the most hated star in BBH would be 100 coins.
That one's also annoying. The problem with 100 coin BBH, and the one that ends up basically taking the rug out of runners' feet, is that they have to go with the vanish cap through a Boo painting, get as many coins as they can until they reach 23 if I'm not mistaken, and then go back into the castle and go back through the painting before their vanish cap runs out.
And that vanish cap has a very fast timer on it.
Like, even very accomplished runners have trouble with getting back before the timer runs out. It's what people usually call a pain.
Alright, both runners now done with VBH, heading to grab Mips, which can be quite tricky if he jukes you.
OKNEM manages to get him. Mips, as you know, if you've watched any other race commentated by me, because I say this, is actually named after the processor in the N64. And Drago clutching Mips as well.
Okay, both runners going the shifting sand lane now.
A stage thoroughly hated across the board.
Very much.
I don't think I know anyone who doesn't have, like, some personal gripe with SSL.
Especially in 120 star.
Oh god, 120 star.
120 star can kind of be its own nightmare in itself. Just because all the extra stars, all the 100 coins.
All the long ones, that long carpet ride on Rainbow Ride that we all know and love.
That's probably the worst.
Right, and Drago going for the pillar strat in order to get the stand tall on the pillars star. It is worth mentioning that there is a much faster strat called pillarless, but it's also much more complicated. It involves doing a bump clip similar to the one that they did at the beginning of the run in BOB. So it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, we got Drago here on N64 again, and OKNEM on emulator. OKNEM's actually playing on a keyboard as his controller. So if you see some safer strats from him, that would be the reason for it. Just because it can be quite tricky with a keyboard, I assume.
He's actually the first person I see running with a keyboard. Then again, I don't watch that many runs. I only watch like a couple of people.
Holder, I believe 2 world record holders on emulator use keyboard.
Right. And OKNEM starting in Lethal Lavaland, as well as Drago.
And yes, OKNEM is using a keyboard.
For me, this stage is one of the riskier ones in terms of deaths you may take, mainly because there are so many stars that have incorporated lava boosts as part of the routing that it's very easy to just have 3 lava boosts in a row and be forced to redo the star. And no one likes the bullies. That too.
For that reason, as Drago just found out there.
And Drago having to take a little extra time. Narrowly missing a quick big bully kill. But he manages to get it without actually dying, which is very nice. Chat raising a very fair point. With keyboard, playing with keyboard, there's no loose analog stick to deal with. The runners that I watch always end up switching their controller when they're about to do Bowser throws, because that circular motion on the analog stick absolutely wrecks the stick. So they have a controller just for doing throws, and they have a good controller for doing literally the rest of the game.
OKNEM now struggling with the bullies as well.
Getting 2 lava boosts and taking a few safety coins.
Takes a 3rd one, finally pumps one. from the fall.
Also, narrowly missing the quick kill, and seeing why these bullies are as annoying as they are. I reckon there absolutely has to be a different programming in the bullies that just allows them to have the knockback on Mario be basically the same time as the recovery time, because that chaining of knockbacks is brutal, to say the least. Especially for casual players. Right. Drago using a lava boost to skip the first elevator, and theOKNEM about to do another lava boost strat in order to, whoops, he did not manage to get it and takes the elevator as a safety. The strat that theOKNEM was trying to go for there was lava boost up the cascade. However, you have to step on that small rock at the bottom of the cascade in order to do 2 boosts up the waterfall, up the lava fall, I mean, and manage to get up to there without dying. Because if you take 3 lava boosts in a row, you die. There's no way around it.
And now, as we can see, Drago back out front here.
Going right into HMC, and if I'm reading his splits correctly, he will be doing Toxic Maze, which is one of the stars that you can decide to do in order to get yourself some to get ahead, basically. Another alternative to that star would be to do TikTok Clock 100, but that one only really saves time if you can manage to do it in under about a minute 5, a minute 10.
Also, THI Reds are also another alternative.
That's true.
Alright, theOKNEM now heading into Hazy Maze.
And he will also be doing Lava Boost as well. I mean, Toxic Maze as well. I can speak.
It's actually really unfortunate there in Lava Land for theOKNEM. He ends up pulling the Lava Boost and then falls.
I mean, Lava Boosting up the cascade is a risky strat, so... it's not seldom that ends up happening. Certainly not at this level.
Playing it safe here, didn't go for the hallway skip, which is just a clip in the wall where you just skip that elevator.
theOKNEM right now in the middle of doing the Navigate the Toxic Maze. One of the slightly longer stars that we do here in 70 star in this stage. However, in 120 star, this stage has somewhat of a reputation, especially when it comes to doing the 100 coin. The 100 coin in this stage is very unforgiving. If I'm not mistaken, the current route allows you to miss no coins at all. And theOKNEM setting himself up for that triple jump over the wall. For those who... this entire stage has no ceilings. He manages to get the Christmas Miracle, which is falling right onto that button to open the gate. And yeah, this stage has no ceilings. So if you want to get from one room to the other without having to navigate, just jump over the wall. It's fine. There's no ceiling, there's nothing stopping you. In fact, you're going to see Drago... Whoop, never mind. This is the second time in this tournament that I've said that someone was gonna attempt box jump, and then they went for the other one.
Box jump is a very tricky jump.
Box jump that we're mentioning is as a different way to get this same star that theOKNEM just got. It's basically, let's see if Drago goes for it. It's basically up on that platform in the room that Drago's in right now. There is a box with coins. You can triple jump onto that box, and that allows you to jump over the wall and basically automatically land on that island star.
Alright, Drago should now be finished with Hazy Maze, grabbing the Toad Star. And he is. theOKNEM only 1 star behind. 1.5 if you count Toad.
But as we mentioned, this lead at this level is something that can be reversed at any time, especially now that they're going to slowly make their way to upstairs and to Tippy.
Yeah, we've already seen the lead change twice so far this race, so it's definitely possible to happen again.
Here we go!
I am very, very glad to see that chat still hasn't stopped doing parallel universe jokes.
Here we go!
Even though we are out of HMC by now. And DDD, infamous for its lag. There are 2 elements in this stage in Dire Docks that cause an extraordinary amount of lag. One of them is the whirlpool, right in the middle of the room that Drago's in right now, and the other one is Bowser's submarine. So they are keeping the camera as tight on Mario as possible, what is called Mario Cam, in order to avoid rendering them for as long as possible, so that the N64 won't get too much lag and they will be able to faster.
You'll actually see here with theOKNEM, he'll just keep camera normal due to being on emulator. He can lag setting. So on emulator, you rarely see any lag.
Also, something worth mentioning about all of these water stages. A lot of these runners have trained themselves in swimming efficiently, by which we mean swimming at just the right rhythm that Mario goes as fast as possible. It's a rhythm that you have to get into, and a lot of runners end up having audio cues for it and end up putting on headphones just for the water stages so that they can swim with the correct rhythm, and then as soon as the water stage is over, they take the headphones off and it's fine. Chat suggesting alternate onomatopoeias for the swimming, bloiga bloiga being an interesting entry.
I'll put that one into effect.
Here we go!
And Drago managing to get his last DD start and going right into Bowser in the Fire Sea. Bowser in the Fire Sea, as we mentioned before, also has a tight timer to comply with in terms of cycles. That is, there is an elevator. Just getting a second lava boost there. He's going to have to be careful. There is an elevator later in the stage. It's blue with yellow ramps, in case you haven't seen it before. And if you don't manage to arrive to it in time to get the red coin and move on to the next phase of the stage, it takes absolutely ages for it to go back down and back up. So both of these runners are going to try to go through this stage as fast as possible, because a small time loss in terms of movement can end up meaning a much larger time loss due to having to wait for the next elevator cycle.
Manta Ray rings giving Octum a little trouble here. If you miss one, it can be very hard to cover.
The hitbox for those Manta Ray rings are also rather finicky, and there are times where you see runners just going through the dead center of the ring and not collecting it for some reason, and having to do the 5 all over again.
Which can definitely cause a lot of tilt. Octum now in Fire Sea. And more than likely try to play it safe here.
And that tilt you mentioned is actually one of the bigger problems in a tournament setting. It's normal to just be okay while doing attempts because you can just do another one and it's fine. But when in a tournament setting, it's either you do well now or you don't. It's that simple. That being said, I would say the other biggest problem in tournament settings that people who are most used to doing attempts wouldn't expect is the early game, because it's very easy to just reset in the early game if you mess up wumps or anything. But here you can't reset, so there's a few runners who are surprised by how much their early game ended up messing up their run, because they're used to not thinking as much about it.
That's a very good point. It's just because the early game is just so reset heavy. It honestly is.
And we see Drago managing to hack Bowser and going on to upstairs. That Bowser fight is one of the harder ones. The reason being that Bowser is the one that spins the fastest out of all 3 Bowser fights. So lining up the throw against the mine is the most complicated.
And I do know that Ochnum does have some problems with Bowser throws, with the keyboard being a little finicky. So we'll see how he does here.
I know theOKNEM has an input view on his stream, so if you go to his stream, you might be kind of going crazy. Yeah, but he does manage to get it first time. In the meantime, Drago doing Wet Dry World. Something some people might not know about Wet Dry World: the height at which you enter the painting dictates the level of the water. So you are going to see that for most of these stars, they are going to be entering at the lowest possible level, so that the water is right next to the ground and it doesn't affect them. There will be one star where, in order to get up onto this level faster, they will enter at mid height, and the water level will be just enough for them to get a jump off of a, how do you call those? Because I don't actually know what those enemies are called.
For the platforms, or
the one that's pictured on the painting.
Oh, a lot of people like to call them a scuttlebug.
Oh, scuttlebugs. Yeah. Well, I would say that at this point we can't really argue against scuttlebugs being the ones on HMC, especially not after that Panic Hook video. But yeah, I don't know. English is not my first language. I know the name of that actual animal in my language, but not in English.
Yeah, normally they're water striders, but their official name is in America. Or water spiders, as a lot of people like to call them.
Yeah, that's That's right.
They're water striders just because they jet across the water.
Drago accidentally missing his last wall jump and falling down the elevator. Not too much of a time loss.
Still ends up pulling up the recovery for him, so that's okay.
And
Definitely
this
good
star.
luck to these runners upstairs.
Oh, absolutely. Upstairs is very punishing. OKNEM doing, as I mentioned, one of the few 100 coin stars that we do this 70 star category. In fact, for the both of them, it will be the last 100 coin star they do.
Here we go! Here we go!
I see someone in the chat calling the Water Strider Bug source kit, and I am going to go with that.
Hey, go!
OKNEM missing that triple jump. It's very tight. And Drago going to THI.
I'll probably go for the secrets first, which is the hardest star of the level. And he does the safer movement here for it.
Here we go!
Yep, jumping over that wall can give you a little bit of a headache if it doesn't work.
And then of course the long jump across the little pole or island in the big world.
Hey, go!
Yeah. Now, this that island where the star just spawned has something that some people may not know about. If you end up ledge grabbing on the closer right corner where that coin is, you will end up getting warped to the area where the piranha plants are. If you don't go up in the right way, when you ledge grab, you have to flick the control stick forward slightly in order to go up slowly. If you hit A in order to go up fast, you'll be caught in the warp and will have to attempt the jump again.
Not necessarily. There is a button that's a backup. It builds it. It's right next to the piranha plants down the little hill.
True. I've seen a lot of runners just deciding to attempt the jump again.
Very weird movement to get into THI Reds. So I'm not quite sure of Drago's route here. He did CCM8 with Toxic Maze and THI Reds.
He does seem to be doing that. I wonder what star he is going to leave out later.
Stomp the Swamp maybe in TTC as well as 100 coin.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. It has some very annoying movement.
Seems like OKNEM's stream is lagging a little bit here, freezing up.
Let me see. Let me go over to his channel to see if there's anything going on. Apparently, his stream has come offline. We will get the information very soon on whether he manages to get it back up. Drago, in the meantime, doing this piranha plant star. Very nice to watch. It looks almost easy, which is always nice to see on any of these stars.
Very unfortunate here for OKNEM with his stream going off.
Okay, it seems we are getting in the chat that he was using 4G and his data limit was reached in terms of OKNEM, so we will see how this moves on.
Not quite sure if that's a legible reason there. But we'll go with it for now. Horizon, have mercy. We're trying to watch a tournament here. Drago, on the other hand, finishing up THI now, I believe.
Mhm.
Yes, he will be.
He will be moving on to getting the second Toad Star and going on to TTM. TTM, infamous for its invisibles.
Oh yes. There's an invisible wall about every other corner.
So for those who don't know, the way that the game is programmed, sometimes there are walls that the walls in terms of the physics engine, aka the ones that actually stop you from moving, are not actually tied to the ones you see. They are separate entities. So sometimes the programmers make a small programming mistake and the wall ends up being larger than it needs to be. That means that in levels with very complex geometry, such as TTM right here or Tecto Clock, there will be walls that you are not able to see, and you will bump against them, and you will either fall off to your death, or in the better cases, just have to retry the jump again.
It appears like OKNEM is back online. Still very unfortunate for him, though, as now there's a fairly decent gap in between runners.
Mm-hmm.
Still definitely PBable for him.
Oh yeah, with his with the PB he has of 111, he should be able to make that difference up if he wants to PB.
Mountain Clip giving Drago a fight. It can definitely be tricky with that angle. So Drago playing it safe here with a Shy Guy maneuver to grab the Blasted Lonely Mushroom Star.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than using the bouncing box.
Bouncing box. I pity every single casual player who first grabbed that box on their first playthrough. It's not something you expect. And going off of those invisibles that I mentioned earlier, that mushroom actually has walls back behind it. It's not something that's usually a problem because usually you're coming towards it rather than past it. But even that geometry can have invisibles. And Drago attempting this clip here and not quite managing to get the up warp. There we go. All right, so the way that Drago just did that, there is water rendered right behind that wall there, and if you go at it with enough speed, aka just like press up against it, you can get onto the water. And if you swim in the right way, you can get warped up to the water much higher in the mountain and save quite a bit of time. However, as you can see, if you don't quite swim right, you can fall off the edge of the water and to your death.
Which is one more tilting factor.
Mm-hmm. All right, both of them going for the same star at the same time, despite the previous difference that they ended up racking up.
Really weird, they actually grabbed the star at the same exact time too.
And Drago going for the breeze in order to collect the mysterious mountainside, if I'm not mistaken. This star is called. I do believe so.
Yes.
Usually, the way you get this is by finding a patch of wall that's completely unrelated on the mountain, higher up the mountain, and then doing a slide similar to the Princess Secret slide. But here you just go up the ledge, fall down, kick, and you get it. OKNEM not quite managing to get the star behind the waterfall. He's going to retry again.
Drago now over in SL, which can be very, very reset heavy at the end of the... That's basically where I consider Tippy to start for the tilt factor.
Yeah. That fence that Drago was just next to can stop some of your triple jumps dead very easily, and he manages to do some movement I consider to be really, really beautiful. Every time I see someone doing it, I'm like, yes, in order to get the snowman's big head start.
Seems like OKNEM's not too comfortable with his mountain clip yet, so he goes up the same way you would go up with the breeze over there.
And also a slightly different route for going for the lonely mushroom. There is a slightly different strat for getting the star that OKNEM just got. It's called Breezeless, and it basically involves triple jumping into the wall and then ground pounding. Because in this game, ground pounding actually allows you to get a little bit of extra height off of your jump. Not extremely intuitive, but before you ground pound, you actually, Mario, while doing that flip, actually goes up a little. So by ground pounding, you can manage to clip through the floor and get into that little niche instead of coming up from above and falling onto it.
Alright, so both runners currently seem to be in the red. So they
Also
might
very
be a
light.
little behind PB pace.
Also
but with
very
time
light
saves
heavy
in
star.
Tippy, you never know.
The time saves in Tippy are plentiful at literally any level of this game, of this gameplay. I'm pretty sure even Chizo 5 has time saves in Tippy. We're actually getting a few questions on chat, or more like conversation about the tourneys. There's indeed a ton of tourneys going on, and Speed Gaming is hosting a lot of them. We have Mega Man 1 all stages and Mega Man X any percent tournaments. You have this tournament here, you have a Super Mario any percent tournament. You also have Link to the Past randomizer tournament. And then just there's everything happening in Speed Gaming in December.
It is huge. It's huge indeed. There's so much going on. We should all just applaud this crew that Speed Gaming has that operates this. They're doing such a great job.
Absolutely. So shoutouts to Fiesel, shoutouts to Mythical9, and to all of the other restreamers. Shoutouts to all of the volunteer commentators that are helping out with all of the matches, not just these. And to all the runners who are being restreamed in front of much larger of an audience than they're used to. And to you guys who come here to watch it.
Definitely, because without you guys, we would just be playing the... You guys are here having a good time with us, and that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just here to have a good time and watch some fairly decent runners with just random games.
Yep. And that actually gives me a really nice segue. If you like how the runners are doing, if you like this kind of entertainment, go ahead and follow them. Their links to their Twitch channels were just posted on the chat. So you go ahead, follow them. You'll see whenever they're speedrunning anything, they tend to speedrun fairly often. So I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Drago there taking a little unfortunate of a death. Retrying the same star again.
The tricky triangles can be, shall I say, tricky.
Yes. Also, I don't know what the developers were thinking with the timer right here, because the timer is almost exactly as much time as you need, like, to actually get up there. I seriously don't understand how they thought that casual players were going to get that. Then again, I reckon that they expected people to have more of a decent grasp of the controls by the time they got up here. theOKNEM also doing the vanilla routing for the Snowman's Big Head strat.
Drago with the triple jump for swinging in the breeze. Executed very well. That's one of the more safe strats there to go for.
Even though it looks like you don't value your life at all. Because you're triple jumping onto a half-a meter square thing.
Alright, let's pray for these runners in Tippy now. Drago did very well in reset ride if in here.
Only managed to die once, or rather managed to only die once, which is always a good thing to say about Rainbow Ride. And he's going on to TikTok Clock and doing it with moving parts. That's not something I expected.
He's going for the get a hand star, which is fairly quick if you go for moving. It's just a little quicker than waiting for the hand to stop for those 2 stars, since they're fairly easy to get. Reset ride taking a toll on theOKNEM here. Gets its name for a reason.
Yes. I've actually seen in one of the races I commentated recently, one of the runners decided to go for moving parts while doing TikTok Clock reds, which I was baffled at the time. It was going for any TikTok Clock start apart from get a hand, I guess, with moving parts is rather complicated and definitely makes it much harder to line up your jumps and time your movement.
Very weird. Drago seems to be going for Stomp right now after getting all those backup stars.
Maybe he'll decide to choose a roll into the cage star, since that's one of the ones that are higher up on the clock and that require the longer move.
Actually, I believe he skipped Cruiser in Rainbow Ride.
Oh, yes, that would make sense. Because for Cruiser, it's either Lackey to bounce, or you wait for the carpet, which is not
always technically true. There are there's certain ways to get Cruiser a little faster. That's
true. Or the wall jumps off of where the pink bomb is.
Yes.
And theOKNEM doing the vanilla route to get the swing in the breeze start. Then again, the wall jumps are also rather technical, so they're right above the chasm. It's not like something's gonna catch you if you fall. So I don't blame him for skipping it.
Drago going for time jumps on moving bars here, even though they're not moving.
And here we're going to see exactly what we meant by the wall jumps off of where the pink bomb is. Say hi to the pink bomb.
Oh no, we got a ground pound animation there. That's okay. You can go for a backup here from a long jump from this carpet. Playing it safe, going to the platform he was trying to long jump to. You can actually double jump or triple jump up there. Pendulum Star. Here goes some struggles here.
Yeah. Having
with
a
the
little
camera
trouble with...
view, it's rough.
Yeah. I mean, props, massive props to this game for basically inventing. But also, like, can you please not, camera? theOKNEM as well, doing that little strat in order to walk on the axle of the swinging platform, but still having a little bit of trouble in terms of movement, and he
should be one more star here for theOKNEM, if not two more since he got Cruiser. I'm pretty sure theOKNEM didn't go for THI Reds.
at yeah, since he did Toxic Maze, I forgot what his splits are, so I'm afraid I can't confirm that.
I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment either.
Yeah. But we see Drago going for his last star of this run.
theOKNEM now finished with Reset Ride, Kappa.
At the same time as Drago finishes with TikTok. So he is going to go up to Bowser in the Sky. Last stage of the game. Hit your GG's ready.
Alright, so Drago's already passed his PB, but that's okay. It's I believe his first race he pulled a 108, so this is definitely improvement. With a good TikTok clock, theOKNEM can still PB.
That's very true. He has about 7 to 8 minutes. He is 7 to 8 minutes until his PB. He can absolutely get the 6 stars he's missing and go through Bowser in that time. Oof.
Oh, no,
Drago getting thrown off the stage completely. That's hurt. What is my mouth? That's going to hurt, is what I meant to say.
I didn't see, but I believe he was going for that triple jump wall kick and ended up missing.
The Chuckiest, also universally hated. Narrowly missing the shock ball. And showcasing one of the 2 ways to go up slopes in this game. One of them is holding A, repeatedly pressing B to do those kicks and get up the slope. The other one is to set up a double jump so that the place where you do the triple jump is on the slope. It's the those two are the only movements that don't immediately send you sliding down.
And now he will be heading into the final Bowser throws.
Or
most of the time, the hardest throws in the game, just due to nerves.
Nerves, the stage falling down, so not being able to throw Bowser close to the mine at first and then wrecking him later. He does manage to get the first one though. It's ridiculous how many PBs and how many world records have been lost to Bowser.
They can be very tricky, especially if you play on console with the original controller. Those plastic sticks slip, especially in moments like this, because if you make it to Bowser throws, chances are you're on Peach's face. And it comes down to throws.
He manages to get the third Bowser throw perfectly. He didn't miss any of... I can't say he didn't miss any of them, but at least got Bowser closer to the mine instead of just throwing him off the edge. And he finishes the race with an official SRL time, 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 37 seconds. Get your GGs in the chat. Good job, Drago.
Definitely GG's to Drago on that race. Still improvement from his first race, so he should definitely be feeling good about that one.
Absolutely. It always feels good to manage to get a win in a tournament like this, which means that he is now 1-1, so not out. If he manages to win his third race, he will actually go on from the group stage. And let's see if we can bring him in for a little interview.
Oh no, unfortunate death for Auckland there.
Goes back in. At this point, he's already seen the dot done on IRC, but he's still going to finish his run. And here we have Drago. GG, Drago.
Hey, thanks, Ash. How's it going?
It's going very well. Congratulations on your win.
Congrats to theOKNEM as well. Dude played awesome. Close.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that his stream died halfway through and he had to stop to fix it. But GG. How are you feeling with this win?
It's always good to get a win, but I feel like I didn't play great at all. I don't know what the death counter was, but it had to be pretty close to double digits, unfortunately. You should have heard me at Bit's death where the Chucky grabbed me. I was laughing my face off, man. That was hilarious.
It's not often that Chucky ends up being a problem in a run.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever dove through that little crack there. But, you know, win's a win. I'll take it.
Well, theOKNEM's getting his last star. He's about to go bits. And what would you say was your highest point in?
Really good basement. I'm looking at my splits right now, and lobby was terrible. I had the death at the end of Dark World 2 in CCM. But, so I was 2.5 minutes coming out of lobby, and I stayed at about 2 minutes tied with my PB all throughout basement. But, Tall Mountain, where I had a lot of issues with the mountain clip for some reason.
True, you did end up falling off of the water there.
Yeah, I did. In the chat from some guy named Are We Camilo asking if I am single. Maybe. Depends on individual is.
Depends on Maloka Pro.
On Maloka Pro, exactly.
Yes. All right. So how are you feeling about your next race in the tournament?
I want to string together a really good run more than waiting. Shy's PB is about 10 minutes faster than mine, so I'm not very hopeful about it. I more just want to play a bit better. You know, this is the second race I've had in a row where my PB was, or I finished 5 minutes ahead of my PB. If I could string like a nice 1-2, 103, that would be great for me.
Mm-hmm. That would definitely be really nice. OKNEM going down on the Bowser stage and having to redo most. Well,
Going down on Bowser, Kappa Pride.
And he manages to get into Bowser. Is there anything you want to mention, or anything you want to point out from your run?
I got highlights. No, not particularly. I want to go through the VOD and clip that Bowser death at the end in bits, where Chucky just died all the way. That was
clip to Chuck, yeah.
Weird clip. Right. It was doing mountain clip in TTM and somehow went through the mountain, but still came out the front side of it.
Yeah. I mean, glitches. How do they work?
Exactly.
OKNEM managing to get both of his throws correctly, despite being on keyboard, does fail the third throw, but he's attempting it again and misses it once more. You were about to say, Drago?
Remember, because you surprised. You say OKNEM's running on keyboard?
Yes.
Oh, yes, he is. He's running on emulator
that is
and using a keyboard.
Man. Impressive, I have to say.
World record is actually set on a keyboard and emulator. Believe it or not.
Know that. Well, all right then.
And
quite insane.
That being said, he was really, really close to his.
He really was.
All right, so he just managed to get the last Bowser throw and is about to collect his start.
And that's a GG.
And get your GGs in the chat as well, guys. Don't leave OKNEM waiting.
Yeah, let's give OKNEM some love as well. That was a good run from him. Good run from both runners, honestly. Perspective PBs, that was a very decent run from both runners. Now, Drago, you actually you saved more time on this run than your first race, if I'm correct.
I believe so. I think it was just maybe about 20 seconds faster.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 20 seconds, something like that.
They were both 106s. That one may have been a higher 106.
Makes you feel any better? I pulled 106s in both of my first two races. So.
Go, man. 106 is the magic number.
And
OKNEM, that's good with a keyboard.
I doubt I'd be able to hit 2 hours with the keyboard.
Yeah. OKNEM just finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 30. Let's see if we can get him in as well.
Well, we are sitting here waiting, everybody. If you enjoyed watching the race, definitely go ahead and Drago. Drop him some love, give him a follow. And if you enjoy our commentary, you're more than welcome to follow us as well.
Yep, I don't think my Twitch channel shows up on the C command, but Jmills is right on the chat right now. And we are not going to be able to pull OKNEM in for a commentary. However, for an interview, he's in the chat. If you want to ask him anything, asking how he manages to pull those 6 strats with keyboard, go ahead. He's in the chat. He's all yours.
Good for him. Well, at this time, I just want to say thank you to OKNEM. Thank you guys too, Ash and Jmil. Very, very much appreciated. I can't wait to go back and listen to the VOD.
Anytime, anytime.
Ash before, and I know he's good stuff with it.
Commentating is my favorite thing, so
Absolutely. Yeah, Jamil was also a great commentary partner. Thank you for.
thank you for hopping in with me, so I wasn't alone. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. All right,
Definitely kept it a
so
little more entertaining for us.
yeah, definitely. It's always better to commentate with.
There we go. They fixed the commentary link, so go ahead and give Ash a follow. If you want, you can give me a follow. I'm not begging. Kappa.
Go and follow Jamil as well. He does more than I do. All right, so up next on speed gaming, I saw a lot of people asking what would. So if you want to keep watching Mario, you have the Super Mario Odyssey tournament at 8 p.m. EST on Speed Gaming 3. There's the Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent tournament between Jella24 and Crescendo. On Speed Gaming 1, you have the Mega Man 1 All Stages tournament, Dexter versus Tubes X. And on Speed Gaming 2, also at 8, they are starting the Link to the Past Randomizer Daily races. They are doing a Key Sanity Seed at 8. So Speed Gaming 4 is the only thing that doesn't have something coming like in 40 minutes. So choose your game. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Anything else you want to get in before we move on, Jamil?
Just once again, want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank both the racers for putting on a really good show for us. It's very entertaining to watch. And just once again, go ahead and drop them a follow if you enjoyed it. Drop us a follow if you enjoyed us. And definitely stay tuned for the next race coming up, as he listed already. And thank you all. Much love to all of you for coming out to this race. I know there's a lot of you, so much love to you guys.
Yep. So go ahead. If you missed any of the races, Speed Gaming has a YouTube channel. Just look for Speed Gaming on YouTube. All of the races are uploaded about 2 or 3 days after they happen. So if you missed anything, there's not only the Twitch VODs, you will be able to see them on YouTube as well. So thank you guys a lot for coming. My name has been Ashley Arya.
I'm JMail Gaming.
And until next time, good luck, have fun.
See you guys.